Welcome back to our bonus episode, part 3 of my interview with Verona Angol. If you missed parts 1 and 2, hit that pause button and make sure you go listen to episodes 60 and 61 first. Verona is a qualified macro and meal planning coach. She is also the host of the Lose Weight with Meal Planning podcast. I invited her on the show this week to give us the basics on macros, and our conversation evolved into the whole diet mindset and how previous well known diets that we've all been on give us a false understanding of what really is healthy for our bodies. We'll be picking up right where we left off, so let's jump back into part 3. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. In yesterday's episode, Verona gave me an impromptu meal planning session after I told her that I only eat egg whites for lunch. And she explained how we could use skill sets that we already have, like budgeting money and managing our crazy households, and apply them to how and what we eat. We also started to talk about the whole diet mentality, and that's where today's episode picks up. So let's jump back in. I think my problem is, and this is not to put down Weight Watchers because I know it worked for me in the past and it works for a lot of people, but with that whole points mentality, and I know they've changed their process over the past couple of years, but when I did it way back when, it was here's the amount of points you're allowed in a day. Egg whites are very low points. So, hey, I can eat as much egg whites during the day so that way I can have that handful of pretzels. And it's not really a balanced diet. It's more of a let's play with the numbers and, have as much of those free point snacks as I could have and, be able to have that little piece of chocolate at night or whatever it is. So I think I still have that ingrained in my head. So when it's like, oh, I need a quick, healthy meal, just having plain egg whites with a little bit of, garlic pepper. And I call that a meal, which I know it's not really a balanced meal, but it's my quick lunch. So that's another reason why I want to get into the macros to be able to know that I'm having, especially as I'm getting older, the right amount of protein, because I know that's where my diet really lacks.
So it's interesting that you brought up that mindset of points. Even sometimes it can happen with calories, and even sometimes it can happen with macros. And it is a perception or a mindset where we get to a point where, and I did it with an MLM diet. So it happens to the point where you do something or somebody's painting a picture for you. In order for you to get results, then you have to do it like this. And many of us, it's, I need to cut out carbs. I need to do this. I need to do that. If you're cutting out carbohydrates, cut out the simple sugars that we're eating too many things of or too much of. Start there. And then you'll start to see changes. Not restricting it, not telling yourself you can't do it because that's going to make you want it even more. But where you did the whole free snacks and the 0 point foods, 0 calorie foods, where you could eat as much of this food as you want. But a couple of coaches that I, speak with, we kind of had the same viewpoint that, hang on a minute, just because it's quote unquote 3 points, it doesn't mean that it's not calories. And that's the difference. They can tell you can eat as much as you want of this particular food. But in reality, all food has a caloric value. So meaning if we eat too much of a food or a combination of food, then that's where the weight gain comes in because we're eating too many calories, more than our body needs. And the additional calories that we end up eating, our bodies then store as fat. And that's the science around it. I want to know, interestingly, how long ago have you stopped doing this with free snacks? That's what we'll call it.
2 years ago, 3 years ago.
3 years. Okay. So it's still very much ingrained. What would it feel like if you could just have, with that egg white, some, now I don't know what you call it, breakfast potatoes? Is that what you call it?
Hash browns.
Hash browns even. Hash browns and then hash browns and then do you eat bacon?
Yes.
What would it feel like if you could have that? See, another meal here. You could still have that same egg white with some things in it, and you've still got carbs, you've got some fats, although the bacon isn't healthy fats, but it's bacon and you'll put in some avocado, or we'll use avocado
I
oil
love
spray to get
avocado.
you. So we've just created a meal here, and then you're still kind of not following the free snacks concept because we know that it hasn't done you very good. but you're still taking what you've learned and now you're transitioning over from that and you're actually having now a macros meal. You still need to work on your mindset. That's a given. Even I have to work on my mindset from the MLM stuff that I was caught up in. So now the way I'm seeing it is, yes, you still have to do the mindset, and that, that comes with time. The more that we realize, oh, well, I'm not actually in that anymore. Oh, I actually learn that, oh, I can eat that. I can eat that and I can have, okay, this, and this has made a complete meal for me. And you said you've loved avocado, you love bacon, and you're like, oh my gosh, hash browns. Are you serious? I absolutely love hash browns. You told me, tell me you love hash browns. You've been telling me you love hash browns. And you still got something you've used to. And now you're bringing it into the present day where you want to track macros. Does that sound like something that you can do in the way that I've just pointed it out?
It sounds amazing. If you tell me that there's a healthy way to eat where I could still have my hash browns and bacon, I am all about it.
Apart from me coming to cook it for you and eat with you, there absolutely is a way. But that's the point I wanted to get to. The point I'm making there is that was one of the biggest transitions for me when I got stuck in that world of different things. And for free snacks over here, you had Weight Watchers or WW as they're called now, and then we had Slimming World. Still, Slimming World is still going strong. And I don't know why there's two of them, but they're very similar in terms of how they do things. So I've come from a world of that Slimming World and contemplating WW Slimming World, cutting out carbs, cutting out sugar for 30 days. I'm like, yes, no sugar for 30 days. On day 31, I ate sugar like I've never seen sugar before. And I'm like, what's going on with my life? And so coming from all of that, and then when I transitioned into macros, I was like, wait, I can have, as you said, my hash browns, my bacon, switch to turkey bacon. Obviously, don't taste the same. But where I talked about having your macros across the week, there could be a weekend where, you know what, I fancy bacon. I don't want turkey bacon today. I want bacon. But you're reducing the amount and then you're cooking in avocado oil, or you're getting the unsmoked and you're getting the ones without nitrate. They cost a little bit more, but you're getting them without all of these things. And then it just cooks on its own without the oils, without anything else in it. But you're still being able to meet your goals and you're still being able to track your food. So you're being accountable to it. So there isn't that restricted thing, but it's just normal. It's fitting into your life rather than you feeling like, wait. How many points is in this? Is there anyone in there? Is this free? Does that app say this? Is this blue? Is this blue plan, purple plan, green plan? Is it this? Am I allowed this? Is the banana gonna have point? If I chew it, if I don't chew it, hello, you got to chew the banana anyway. It's gonna digest unless you're swallowing the banana whole. My point here, which is why I don't like those kind of things. But my point here, it does work for some people. I'm not saying it doesn't. But if you're the type of woman who's listening and you know that it hasn't worked for you, please stop trying to be a lifetime member. It doesn't work. If it's causing you more stress than it's worth, then it's time to find something new, not a new diet. Figure out for yourself, what is it that you actually want to achieve? Is macro something that you could do? Is macro something you realistically have the time for? Do you have time for with your kids? You know your kids, every single one of them. Do you know? No, I was going to say, do you know the Muffin Man? No, not the Muffin Man. Do you have the time to track your food? If you don't, can you realistically make the time to track your food? Can you realistically make the time to track your food for a couple of days to get started? Then you're going out for a full week. These are all things that you can ask and you get to choose. You're not then, when it comes to macros, you're not being like, right, you've got to track your macros. You've got this for carbs. You've got that for protein. You've got this for fats. You absolutely have to stick to each macro. If you don't, you're a failure. That's what diet culture told us. You're now in a space where you get to choose and you're working towards what your body needs, more or less of.
So with that whole concept, I say this in almost every episode is give yourself grace because like you said, if you slip up, if you miss a day of tracking your macros or miss a day of whatever it is on your goals, like you don't have to be perfect. Even if you're just making that little effort every day and jumping back on, you miss a meal, but you track your next one. That's what it's about. It's just getting into that lifestyle change of tracking. And when it comes to tracking, and this is more me telling myself that, if you have time to go on Facebook or Instagram and write comments and check this picture and like this picture, you have time to go into an app and type in your food. And they make it so easy because the MyFitnessPal is the one I've been looking into. You could literally scan the package and it puts it all in there for you. You just scan the barcode and all that fun stuff is done for you. So I'm all about it. So what are some tips for busy working moms? that either have to go to work or work at home like me, where I'm pretty much stuck at my computer. My Apple Watch is what tells me to stand up.
Mm.
And if I don't have my Apple Watch on, I could literally sit here for hours engulfed in work. So, what are your tips?
I'm going to give you some tough love here. So the truth is that we're all busy. We have some level of busy in our lives, whether it's really busy, I can't think I'm busy, or it's just a little bit busy. We've all had that. And even though I'm busy, I'm not a mum. I mean, being a mum has a different level of busy in itself. So I'm not somebody naive to be like, oh yeah, you've got time. When it comes to children, it's a little level, different level to somebody who's single and as a Pringle and just, has no children. So I don't pretend to know that I understand that, but I definitely appreciate that. But here's where even clients that have had children on my sessions and we've still got the sessions to work, I've stopped sessions from being 50 minutes to reducing the time because the children are just being children and they want their mum now. So it's about working towards that. But the reason why I make it work, the reason why we've made it work as busy mums as well, is because we have a plan for the nutrition. We have a plan to what it is that we want, what it is that she wants, what it was that I want. And I wanted to be intentional about what I ate, how much I eat, and the money I spent. I'm not here to talk about myself. I do that on my own podcast. So basically, have a plan. Have a plan for your nutrition, what you want. Be intentional about what you eat. Be intentional about how much you eat. Be intentional about the money that you spend to eat. Am I saying don't go out on date nights? Am I saying don't go out and buy food? Because some days, hello, you know, eating out is the amazing thing. Putting something from the oven is easier. I'm not saying don't do that, but there has to be intention to it. If you've already just gone out and made a big old food shop, and you're buying takeout on top of it, sometimes, to pack it, to unpack it again, who has time to then be cooking food for a whole another hour for mouths to feed? I'm a single woman. I don't have children. There is no way, meal prep or no meal prep, I'm not doing that because it's long. And shopping takes time. Whether it's food shopping or whether it is clothes shopping, it's a lot. You're actively walking, you're actually doing some form of exercise. So my point in this big long thing is, what are the tips? Is to make a plan, decide what you want to do. If you're planning at the end of that grocery trip to have something to eat out, then do that. If you're planning to have meal plan that you've prepped, then you're going to have to prep it a couple of days before you do your shopping trip. But my point is, make a plan, decide what you want, and then put together that plan. If it's ugly, if it's pretty, doesn't have to be a perfect plan. Just make sure that you have one. And it works for you. Put a plan in place that your children will like, your children enjoy, and then get to working. And those are my very dramatical and my theatrical kind of tips for you to that point.
I am all about meal planning. I do it every weekend, at least for the meals that I have to cook when Russ is home. He's the cook of the house. I hate cooking. So I'm all about the quick, fast, easy, healthy is a big bonus meals that I could just get out on the table. So this has been awesomely fun. I loved having you on the show. My fun question: what is the number one time management tool you use and recommend?
For free, use your Outlook app. If you're somebody who's a business owner or even at work, you could use that for free. But the one that I use now is a simpler version of Asana, because Asana was complex in my head, and now I use ClickUp. ClickUp is a lot easier for me, and that's how I manage myself and manage my life and my phone. Because if I don't have those things, I'd be like, what? Who? I have mum brain. I'm not even a mum. That's what I'm like.
So I heard you have a nice little freebie for the audience. Why don't you tell us about it?
I'm in two minds about which freebie to give you. I'm going to give it to you because you said you wanted to meal plan. I'm going to send you the meal planning guide. Just my challenge to you is on this podcast that all of your listeners can hold you accountable when you're going to do it. Tell us your date, when you're going to track your macros, when you're going to get started, because there's nothing stopping you.
There really is. There really is. Nothing stopping me. You're calling me out. Okay. So I will use the audience to keep me accountable, announcing it here now. I will start counting macros on, and I know this is a weird date to pull out of the air, February 19th. And why did I pick that date? Because Russ and I are going on a vacation to Dominican Republic, just the two of us, the week before. And I never start any new habit on any other day of the week but a Monday. Monday is my reset day. And that will be the day I will start. I was going to say try to start, but I'm going to really, really put the intention out there I'm going to start on February 19th. All you listeners, help keep me accountable. So now you said you had another freebie for the rest of my audience. What do you got for us?
I do indeed. So I have just given you a whole lots of good information about macros, but I've transitioned now. I've, graduated from macro tracking and now I'm solely focused on meal planning. So when it comes to having quick recipes, just like I gave Kerry in this episode where I talked about how you can pair those together, I created a quick guide, not 100 recipes. There's 7 recipes in here that are quick and easy that we all know, we can pronounce, and we can get in and out of season. So you can go to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/recipes. These recipes can all be done 30 minutes or less, and your kids can enjoy it too, because I have created a kid-friendly meal plan so that they can enjoy it too. Because sometimes when it comes to feeding little mouths, it's, I don't like it, I don't want it. So I've included it for them too. That's vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/recipes, but I will give Kerry the link so it's easier for you to just click and just go.
We'll add that into the show notes. And where else can we find you? And what is your podcast name and what is it about?
My podcast name is Lose Weight with Meal Planning, and you can still find the macros episodes on there. You'll have to dig though, but it's Lose Weight with Meal Planning, and the website is just vanutritioncoaching.co.uk.
And we'll put that in the show notes as well. I loved having you on here. We went on many tangents, but great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I loved it. Thank you for having me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Verona. You should really go check out her podcast and definitely check out the show notes for those freebies. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Kerry Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it in your Instagram stories and tag me and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out with us in our Facebook community. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Kerry Pat.